Here are some of the big stories from the 2026 Winter Olympics. Hi there, everyone. It's Jeff, and this is Plain English. Here at Plain English, we help you upgrade your English skills with stories about current events and trending topics. When you listen, you learn new words and new ways of expressing ideas in your new language. Today's episode is all about the Winter Olympics. They just concluded a couple of weeks ago in Milan. Milan and Cortina, both in Italy. Milan hosted the indoor events, Cortina, the mountain events. There were some good stories to come out of these Olympics, some great performances, some triumphs, heartbreaks, and a few funny moments. We'll take a spin through 6 stories from these Olympics, plus a bonus reading assignment for homework if you're brave enough. This is episode number 845 of Plain English. The full episode is at plainenglish.com/845. Let's get started. Here are 6 of the biggest stories from the 2026 Winter Olympics in Italy. We start with biathlon. Biathlon doesn't often make the list of most memorable moments. Biathletes combine 2 sports, cross-country skiing and rifle shooting. Athletes ski a loop course, stopping at shooting ranges a few times during the competition. Every miss on the shooting range equals a penalty on the skiing part of the competition. Norway dominates biathlon, and it's not even close. Norway won gold and bronze in the 20-kilometer biathlon. Sturla Holm Lagrad was interviewed live on Norwegian television about his bronze medal-winning performance. And that is when the rest of the world started paying attention to biathlon. In the live interview, Lagrad confessed that just a few months earlier, he had made the mistake of his life, not a sporting mistake, but he had cheated on his girlfriend. He said, all this on live television, by the way, that 3 months earlier he cheated on his girlfriend, but had only confessed it to her the week before, and he was asking for her forgiveness. The girlfriend was not named, but she told a media outlet, anonymously, that she didn't forgive him. Later, Lagrad said he regretted his on-air confession. Ouch. Speaking of ouch, the American skier Lindsey Vonn is one of the best alpine skiers in Olympic history. She retired in 2019 at age 34 after years of injuries. She had knee replacement surgery at age 40 and announced she was making a comeback. She crashed a few weeks prior to these Olympics, but was cleared to compete. Her first event in Cortina in 2026 was the women's downhill on February 8th. She burst out of the gate and 13 seconds later crashed and had to be airlifted off the mountain. She shattered her leg and needed 4 surgeries in Italy. Doctors said she almost needed to have her leg amputated. She is back home in the United States and is using a wheelchair. Lindsey Vonn was not the only athlete in her 40s to compete in these Olympics. Austria's Benjamin Karl was 40 years old when he won the gold medal for men's alpine snowboarding parallel giant slalom. He became the oldest athlete ever to win an individual gold medal at the Winter Olympics. I hope he enjoyed the honor because it only lasted 8 days. That's when the American Ilana Myers-Taylor, age 41, won the monobob, the individual bobsled race. She edged out the German bobsledder Laura Nolte by 0.04 seconds. When she crossed the finish line, she signed to her 2 sons, both deaf, "Mommy won." There were some other firsts these Olympics. Great Britain doesn't have mountains or much snow, but they do fare well at the Winter Olympics. Team GB has a strong legacy in figure skating, curling, and skeleton, but Great Britain won its first ever gold medal on snow when Charlotte Banks and Hugh Nightingale won the mixed team snowboard cross. An even bigger first came for Brazil, which became the first South American country to claim a gold medal at the Winter Olympics. 25-year-old Lucas Pinheiro Brathen won gold in the men's giant slalom. No, he did not practice on Sugarloaf. He was born in Oslo to a Norwegian father and a Brazilian mother. He competed for Norway for most of his career, but switched his allegiance to Brazil. He speaks Portuguese, decorated his helmet with Portuguese phrases, and in an interview he said, "Norway taught me how to be an athlete, how to brave the cold. Brazil taught me how to be myself." I love that. But the biggest story of these Olympics came at the Unipol Forum just outside of Milan. The American figure skater Ilya Malinin is known as the Quad God. That's because he includes several quadruple jumps in his routine, jumps where he spins around 4 times in the air. He is the only figure skater in history to have performed the quad axel, a 4.5 revolution jump. In figure skating, athletes are awarded points for complexity, so the skaters with more difficult routines can earn more points. So Ilya Malinin was heavily favored to win the gold medal in men's figure skating, not just because he hadn't been beaten in competition in 3 years, but also because his routine was technically complex. He had the opportunity to earn more points. But it was not to be. On the men's free skate, the 21-year-old from Virginia fell twice and finished 8th, one of the biggest shocks in Olympic figure skating history. He said he felt overwhelmed and had no control on the ice. So many negative thoughts flooded in there, and I could not handle it, he said. These Olympics instead belonged to Mikhail Shaidarov of Kazakhstan. The 21-year-old went into the free skate in 5th place, more than 15 points behind the leader. His performance was clean, and he jumped into the leader's chair. But many great skaters hoped to overtake him later in the evening. But he watched as one after another of his top competitors faltered. And when Malinin, his most formidable competitor, fell onto the ice, it became clear that Shidorov would take home the gold medal. He was the quad god of the night. Shidorov cleanly executed 5 quadruple jumps, earned the best score of his life, and held it together on the world's biggest stage while more famous skaters crumbled. He brought Kazakhstan its first Winter Olympic gold medal since 1994, the year he was born. A funny moment happened during a qualifying race. Croatia's cross-country skier Tena Hadžić was neck and neck with another racer named Nazgul. Hadžić, the Croatian, crossed the finish line first. She turned back and saw her pursuer, that other racer, was a dog. She thought she was hallucinating, but it actually was a dog. 2-year-old Nazgul is a wolf dog and lives in a hotel nearby. He escaped onto the course and was chasing the skiers. Nazgul's owner says he was probably just looking for someone to play with. Unfortunately, judges disqualified him. He was, after all, a male trying to compete in a women's race. There is one other story, and oh gosh, look at the time. I'm so sorry. We are out of time. I wish we could talk about this. I really do, but we are out of time, and that is the only reason we are not going to talk about hyaluronic acid. If you want the story, just search it. Hyaluronic acid Olympics, and I would not recommend doing that from your work computer. I watched a little bit of the Olympics this year. I like the track sports, bobsledding, luge, and skeleton, and the ski jumping too. I was watching the ski jumping, and I was afraid for the skiers. They jump high in the air, flip around, and land on their feet. And I thought, this is just really dangerous. How can you practice this without landing on your neck and being paralyzed? And the answer to that question is that they train in the water. They learn the moves on a jump, but instead of doing it on snow and hard ground, they do it indoors and they land in a pool. Only after they get good at a jump do they do it on snow. I just thought that was a fun detail. And that's all for us here at Plain English. This was episode number 845. That means JR has uploaded the full episode, including the quiz and activities, to plainenglish.com/845. We'll be back on Thursday with a new expression and next Monday with a new story. See you then.